Chapter 3. It takes me 4 tries to get the combination right when I stop by my locker before third period because I can't shake the feeling that I'm being watched. I glance to my left and catch the brunette girl with the perfect nose staring at me from her own locker about 10 rows away. I expect a glare, but her look shows more curiosity than contempt, as though she's observing some fascinating animal at the zoo. When our eyes meet, her expression doesn't change, and then, after a moment, she walks away. Feeling unsettled, I unload the books I don't need and set off for pre-calc. Mr. Hibbard is ancient and mind-numbingly dull. The only redeeming quality of his class is that he's so old school he's brought in actual blackboards. The smell and the clicking of chalk on board are comforting, but I still hold out little hope of getting an A. In French, I sit behind a blonde girl named Casey Reese, who notices the stitching on my Ramones shirt and asks where I got it. Feeling slightly suspicious of her motives, I tell her I bought it online and then pretend to look for something in my bag. At first, I like Madame Bourdelon. She's French-Canadian and her accent sounds exotic and sophisticated. But halfway through the period, she realizes I'm the only student who hasn't chosen a French alias, and then she asks me to pick one in front of the whole class. When I respond with stunned silence, she quickly refers me to a list in the textbook, and then moves on with her lesson. I avoid further interaction by pretending to study this ridiculous list, which contains a blue column for boys' names and a pink column for girls. I glance up only to check the clock. On one hand, I can't wait to get out of this room. On the other, I'm dreading the arrival of lunch. Park Hills High is big. There must be 4,000 students here. The thought of being seen by even a quarter of those people at once in a single massive room makes my heart contract. A low buzzing starts up in the back of my head, as if wasps have begun building a nest inside my skull. It's the beginning of an anxiety attack, and I can't have one now, not on my first day. I close my eyes and take 3 slow, deep Dr. Ann breaths. My heart palpitates one more time, then settles back into its normal rhythm. I've delayed the attack for now, and maybe I can fight it off indefinitely, or at the very least until I've made it through lunch. At Immaculate Heart, I avoided the cafeteria at all costs. During the first week of my sophomore year, Ben Haskell slapped my tray when no teachers were looking, splattering my uniform with tomato soup and showering me in Diet Mountain Dew. 2 days later, Patricia Shea tripped me as I was walking past her table. I landed on my wrist, and it swelled to the size of a softball. After that, I never went back to the cafeteria again. I would have lunch in Miss Kearns's English classroom. But then she moved to Arizona, and I had to eat on the stoop behind the art supply room. When the bell rings at the end of French, I'm the last one out of the classroom. The quad is already crawling with students, all of them swarming toward the outdoor eating area like ants descending on the remains of a discarded popsicle. Maybe I don't have to do this. Maybe Miss Crane will let me eat in her room. I turn and start in that direction, and then I stop. I told myself it was going to be different here. I told myself I was going to be different, that I was going to blend in, to find my place. And I don't want that place to be hiding in a teacher's room every day at lunch, not again. I turn and start across the quad, not stopping until I reach the top of the stairs that lead down to the lunch area. From here, I can see everything. The cafeteria at Park Hills High is actually an enormous covered patio, half the size of a Costco and twice as ugly. The gray concrete wall is punctuated by 3 takeout windows and a giant graffiti-style mural reading, "Roar, Lions!" In the open area, students sit crammed shoulder to shoulder at green fiberglass picnic tables arranged in 7 long rows with a wide aisle down the center. I stand at the top of the stairs, observing the arrangement of all the cliques, trying to find a safe place to sit. The table in the back left corner has been claimed by a congregation of guys and a few girls, with 7 C's and bleeding out slow t-shirts, prominent piercings, and dyed hair. If I don't manage to spot Solo in the crowd, this table might be my best option. To their right, there's a group of students mostly dressed in thrift shop chic. No way I'd blend in with them. The other 2 corners are occupied by, respectively, band people, as distinguished by their bulky instrument cases, and a group of what looks like senior AP students studying while they inhale their pizza pockets and pudding cups. The center of the room is dominated by a swath of green and gold, students in various team shirts and jerseys, the student government people, the cheerleaders, and members of the football team. To get to the food line, I'm going to have to walk down that